Hello guys and welcome to another live stream. Thank you very much for being here and welcome to the Royal Retinue review. This is a place where I like to review miniatures submitted from my patrons and channel members live. Nothing scripted, nothing planned. I just have a look at the minis and give whatever feedback I feel it's necessary. If you want your minis reviewed, just join my Patreon channel members up to from Miniatures tier or above. And if you want your minis reviewed but you don't want to give me money, or you can't give me money, whatever, everything is fine. Is fine with me. Just join the PMP review. The PMP is the Painters Motivated Painters group on Facebook, and once a month they have a miniature review, very much like this one, where Vince Venturella goes around reviewing minis from the group members. So if you want your minis reviewed by an amazing painter, join the PMP group on Facebook and have it done there for free. But here is about Patreon channel members. But before we dive into the review, let me give you a bit of an update on what we are going to see in the channel. Hey, good evening. I have my chat down here in my mobile phone, so I will try to keep up with the chat as I'm reviewing. So please, if you guys will let me know what can I, if you can listen to this well, please, that will be very helpful. And Liam is asking how can he submit a minis? Join my Patreon or channel members, many times tier or above. And once a month I will have a post there explaining how you can submit your minis. Yay, crisp and neat, perfect. So before we dive in, as I said before, let me just give an update on what is coming to the channel very soon. The next heavy contrast tutorial is a Tau. So expect the Tau coming maybe this week, maybe the next week, depending on how I finish, on when I finish the editing of the video. I'm also planning to do another live stream of me painting this bust, and I'm quite doubting if I want to go YouTube live stream or if I should jump onto Twitch. So if you guys have any experience on that, please let me know in the chat what you prefer. Do you prefer Twitch? Do you prefer YouTube live stream? Let me know, please, because I have no idea. I'm new to this, also new to all the Twitch thing. So if you know how to move in the Twitch world and want to help me, just send me a message. You have all my contact details in the description of this video, email, social media, whatever it is, and I will really be thankful for that, because I have no idea how Twitch works. Also, I've been trying to improve the quality of my YouTube tutorials. If you have seen the Silvernet video, you will have noticed that about halfway into the video we start to see some zooming in, because I started using 4K video, 4K footage, which means recording it is harder and processing it and editing it is much harder. That's why my videos, my long videos, will maybe delayed a little bit. Also, I will appreciate if you watch those videos and can you give me a bit of a feedback on if you like it, if you don't, or how do you see? Because in the next video, in the Tau video, which is coming very soon, I started filming it with a lens, and then about halfway into the video, maybe just about the end of the video, I'm going to change lenses, because I'm trying to, again, improving the quality and the overall experience for me and for you. So let me see how people say it. So if you can give me a bit of feedback there when the Tau video is released, or if you haven't seen the Silvernet video, please go and watch it to see if the lens I'm using there is good enough, if you feel the video is crisper, or, you know, all that stuff. So let me see before we dive in again if the chat is how is that just going. Yeah, other people do both. Yeah, but I can't do both at the same time. My internet connection is not fast enough to make to stream high quality video onto both platforms at the same time. I've had to look into that. Go full TikTok. Okay, so please leave your comments there. I will highly appreciate that. So let's start with the live stream with the review, please. We have 9 submissions, which is awesome. A bit fewer than the past month. But that's also great because I can maybe dive in a little bit extra into each submission. Again, people submitted 4 or 5 pictures, which is great. I have looked to all of them, but I will only be showing one here on camera because otherwise it's really a pain in the ass for me to be doing a lot of views of the same model. So let's go. And with the first one is from Olivier, and already you can tell this is a quite stunning NMM painting. Her wings are absolutely stunning. Really good job on Morathi. I really wish the picture quality was a bit better. It's a bit blurry, but that kind of helps to realize if the metallic effect is well done, and here it's definitely well done. So Olivier wants to know what's a bit of feedback on the NMM, because he is about to paint the larger version, the snake version of this lady, and that would be so he wants to know if there's anything he can do better, and I have a couple of different feedback that I want, a couple of points that I want to make. Of course, this is a really high-end paint job. This is really well done, and you will see along the live stream that I will judge differently things that are obviously painted by a really talented painter or really experienced painter. I really prefer that second expression, and ones that are painted by a not so experienced painter. So you really need to judge both things differently. Also, when people ask me, and you will see this later on, about Golden Demon quality, Golden Demon feedback, I will jump right into Golden Demon mode, and I will be harsh because that's what the person is looking for. So have that in mind. If you see me being a bit harsh at some point, consider this what the person submitting this is asking me for, because the judges at the Golden Demon are not going to be your friends. They are going to judge you as hard as they can. So with this mini, obviously beautiful paint job. A couple of things that, yeah, the one thing that he wanted to know, which is the golden MM, is beautiful. I only would miss maybe a couple of edge highlights that I'm not seeing. So for example, places like here, maybe it's all on the picture, but I'm kind of missing some edge highlights on these lower edges. You may think that is not necessary, and obviously this looks fantastic, so it's kind of a bit of my personal style with NMM, but I kind of feel, for example, this area here looks better because it has all the edge highlights applied, while the wings is missing some, and I think it would really benefit from a bigger from those edges highlighted. Same goes for things like here, which is not done, stuff like that. Very small details. Also, I feel like her crown is not really well defined. It's kind of a bit messy. So I think some deeper shadows here and here, defining all the shapes better. That will be great. Also, more edge highlights here and here. Maybe darken this area a bit and then do an edge highlight so we can see really well defined. When you start painting NMM, it's really easy to get lost and to have all the main shapes get a bit lost because you are just concentrating in doing all the gradients well. So you kind of miss the point of the painting, which is having your menu well defined, so it's easy to read. And I kind of feel that the crown is not as easy to read as the rest of the NMM. It's also quite busier, so that kind of has that effect. But yeah, all in all, really good wings. The only things that I will improve in this mini is not really so much the NMM. Let me turn this off a bit. Not really the NMM, but the rest of the elements. For example, the red dress and the purple boots kind of mix. There's not a clear color definition. I will. It's like kind of a bit of the same. So I will either saturate more the dress or saturate more the boots, so they will stand out. Make one of those colors, not both of them, but one of them, make it more intense. So saturate one of those more, wherever you feel like it. I kind of feel like if you saturate the red dress, it will combine very well with the red blood on his wings. So that is what I would do. Also, I feel like the hair, again, really not all that defined. Is kind of a bit flat. So adding more highlights on the hair, the same way as you did with the gold NMM on the wings. If you add reflections to the hair, like it's shiny, it will really improve the quality overall. Also, you may want to look into somehow changing the colors of these hooks, because they look like hair and they shouldn't. They should be like metallic. So maybe painting them gold? I don't know. Them being grey NMM, they kind of get lost with the black hair. So that is another thing to look into it. But all in all, I personally really like the base, and I really like the gold NMM, which is just beautiful. And I also like her skin tone, which is really, really nice. Well done, Olivier. And I'm really looking forward to see the big version of this lady very soon in the Discord chat, which you will get access to if you join my Patreon or channel members. So let's move into the second one. Let me see if what I've studied. Yay, it worked. If what I studied, I've been trying to study the Photoshop shortcuts to see if I can make this go a bit better. So we have a Silvernet dude submitted by Shekon or whatever. Let me see if I have some comments here. I will take a look at those afterwards. So we have a mini here from Shekon. Oh, sorry. I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's a Silvernet dude. A very interesting paint job, very interesting color choices and style, and I really approve of that, by the way. He did like a green skin, like almost like a goblin, what we are used to paint goblin, like goblin green skin, with the red hair, and kind of reddish wood, and the green leaves, which I think works very well. Sorry, I just missed what I was saying. Okay, so yeah, he has a really nice Silvernet. Things I really like. I really like the color combination. I really like this purple dude here, and I really like that he went for a very different style of Silvernet, which I always encourage people to look for their own painting style, for their own color choices, and for whatever feels like they like. And I think this is a very personal paint job, a very personal color style, and I think it works very well. Things to improve, I will try to be neat. He was asking how to do dead eyes, like he's kind of a zombie Silvernet. So if you want to do dead eyes, what I do is just paint them black and do a dot of white in the middle. Just that. You can see that in my Chaos Space Marine videos. Whenever I paint a Chaos Space Marine with the face showing, I will paint the eyes like that. Works really well, gives like a really sinister look. I think it will fit this very well. But if you just wanted to do like kind of dead eye look, take something like maybe like a neutral light gray, something like Vallejo Deck 10, or maybe the Deepkin Flesh from Citadel. Just paint the eye like that, and then you can maybe just wash it with Noon Oil. I think that would be a really cool look too. Also, the Noon Oil applied afterwards will help it define the eye, and if you missed up a bit, it will hide it, which is also very nice. Things to improve here, mainly what I would do personally is add more highlights into the face. So when I look at this mini now, my eyes go directly into this dude, and then go all around, goes into the green leaves, the weapon, and then the face kind of is in the middle, but it's not there. So what I will try to do is increase the highlights on the face. So especially the nose, and then the cheekbones and the eyebrows, and then the lips. Just that will kind of move your eyesight into there, creating a better look overall. Of course, if you find that tricky, you can just maybe not darken his face so much. I really appreciate that you're trying to make it different, being like a darker green, but I think maybe switching it around for the next batch. So painting the skin like with a darker green and the face with a lighter version, I think that would make an improvement. You can also highlight the hair here a bit more. This will also help focus your eyes more on the face of the model, which is what you want. But all in all, really original paint job. Really great looking warband, because he has painted the whole warband in the same style, and once you see them all, they look fantastic. So great job. I've seen several minis painted by him, and he is increasingly getting better and better and refining, and it's a great thing to see when you can see the progress of a painter across several minis. It's just fantastic. That's why I love my Discord server so much, because I get to see the evolution. Also, this series is helping me do that, and it's such a joy to watch. So great job, Sikon. Let's move into the third one. Oh, there you go. This is a fantastic green dark looking Space Marine by Life After. This is he even says this in his email, that this is obviously not my style. This is more like something like, why I always forget the names of the people of the other cartoon creators when I'm doing this. There's Saskatoon. Saskatoon he's like the king of grim dark painting tutorials, and this is the grim darkest Space Marine ever. First of all, he is Black Templar. I'm guessing he is Black Templar, which is the grim darkest of all the Space Marine chapters, and then is painted really well in a grim dark style. He says he's struggling with the eyes. Yeah, painting eyes is hard. My personal recommendation when people are having a hard time painting eyes is, let me jump right in so we can see it. What I would do is, let me put this a bit smaller. There you go. So what I do when I was starting, I was given a very good advice about painting eyes, and it's this one. Start with the eyes, do the eyes first, and then do the rest of the face. So what you do when you have like a white, for example, in this eye, let's imagine this his other eye is not dead. So what I would do is just paint a vertical line, paint the eye white, the whole area white. Then you paint a vertical line of black, and then you go with black, and you also like kind of or with a dark brown, and you go around refining the shape of the eye. Then you go with a flesh tone, and you refine that even more. Let me see if I can get this not being massive. Okay, there you go. So you go with your flesh tone and you kind of trim this off like this, more or less. You get the idea. You do a vertical line, then you paint the outline of the eye with a dark brown, and then go with the flesh tone and just refine everything, and you will have a perfectly done eye, much easier. And then you can apply washes and you can weather it however you want, and it should look really well, hopefully. That's a very good trick about painting eyes if you don't have brush control to do them afterwards. But all in all, let me just get this Space Marine here. There you go, you can see that. I hope you can see that well. All in all, this is a great example of a really well painted grimdark style Space Marine. It has everything you want. I can see all the shapes really well. Of course, if you have chosen a white background for the picture, we could maybe see it a bit better, but I get that he really likes this dark style, and it really benefits the Mini a lot. Maybe not so good for a review, but it's fantastic for the ambience, and I really get why he has done it. So, things to get better, maybe, I know that grimdark is all about not having to really edge highlight that much, but a bit more contrast here and there would be great. For example, these highlights, these highlights here are just done by the light, and I would really like to see them done more with the brush, maybe even a stippling like the Artis Opus videos, like a kind of controlled dry brushing stippling before you apply all the grimdark crap all over it. It can really make for a better overall look before you apply all your oil washes. You know what I'm talking about. It's just not my style, but it looks fantastic, and this is a perfect example of what a grimdark marine should look like. It's just a matter of refining everything just a tiny bit more, a bit more highlighting before applying all the enemas and all the oils, and maybe maybe a bit of pigment on the boots, on the lower side of his legs, not just this kind of brown wash, but also some pigments. Maybe a lighter reddish brown will really help here. They will get into the cracks, and they will provide a really good look. But all in all, I'm not the best one to suggest you ways of doing this marine grim darker. So that's all I can think of. The flesh looks fantastic. I'm a really fan of his whole face. His eye is a bit wonky, but you already know that. Try next time. Try my method of painting eyes before painting the face, and you will see that you will get a much better result. Usually eyes look a bit wonkier when they don't have the dark outline around them, because that it's not, maybe it's it's not realistic because we are not everyone has his eye painted like with a black eyeliner, but it really helps with the minis. It really helps separating all the shapes better, which is very important. So you can obviously use dark brown, which is what I do instead of a black, and you will get a fantastic result. But again, all in all, super beautiful grim dark marine. Even if it's not my style, I can really appreciate a nice paint job. Okay, let me see. So for some reason my live chat has died. It's really hard, this. How can people do this? Like, this is keeping in touch with the video and also seeing all the comments, and I really want to do that. So yay, we are back. So yeah, there you go. Thank you for putting up with all my unprofessionalism. Fourth submission, this is from Gabriel Rodriguez, and look at that, that is much more my style. First of all, they are elves, which I like, big thumbs up. Elves are the best. Also, they are bright, beautiful, colorful, fantastic unit. This is one unit that I would personally be proud to feel in any game. They look great, and I'm sure when you are playing with them, they will look even better. And personally, I'm a big fan of the cow extravaganza they have going on the heads. I really, really dig that look. Yeah, here, Gamethara, which we'll see a mini painted by him later on, is saying that maybe having two screens will help, and it would do. I only have one monitor, so that is kind of what's letting me down. I don't have much desk space, but I probably should add a second monitor, a small one here, just for the chat, really, and to control all the live stream stuff. I'm not a live streamer, so I'm not a streamer. I'm not doing this professionally. I'm just doing this occasionally as a bonus for my patrons, really, because that's what I do. But I should add a second monitor, yes. So let's. Oh, sorry, I've jumped boat here. Yes, this unit here from Gabriel, beautiful unit. Things you can do better. What I can see, let me just go off on things that I see. For example, where is my brush? Here. You can see that when you painted the capes, you have this dark line. I don't know if it's a wash or a recess shade. It's a bit too thick. You want this, if you cover too much with your recess shade, you should go back with your blue tone and really correct that. So for example, let's just say I can take this and then move to my brush, and maybe we can, there you go. So you can go back with your blue and turn this, there you go, and thin that line down. It will really help quite a lot just to get them all just that little bit more crispy looking, you know, that extra attention to detail. The same can be said on over all of the other surfaces. It's just a matter of thinner brush control, really, to apply all the recess shades. But that's the only thing I can really think of that this unit will benefit from, because this is fantastic. Also, here you have some highlights that look a bit rough. You can see the outline there, and if you take some of the previous color and you apply it, and you apply this as a glaze here like this and blend them all together, you will see that immediately looks better. You can also, don't be shy when you're highlighting this kind of tassels. because if you can go much higher with highlights like this, like that, immediately you can compare one side to the other. That immediately looks much better. So don't be shy with your highlights. So that's the main thing. But the rest, they look really well. I will add a bit more shading to the white details. You can get something like Griff Charger Gray, and maybe do a bit more shading there. Let me show you how that would probably look. So you can just take your brush and do an extra reset shade around there, just to define all the elements here on the ropes better. But all in all, again, as I said at the beginning of this review, this looks just fantastic. It's a great unit, and I would be really proud to field this in any of my elf armies. So great job. I keep on painting. I'm really looking for more elves units in the next month. Let me see. Okay, now we move into this beautiful Space Marine. He's an Ultramarine, but no one is perfect. And this is from Funky Bristles, and this is his first try, his first really like hard try into the heavy metal style. And he was looking to feedback and on if this looks heavy metal and ways to improve it. And I really have a couple of. Let me just say that first of all, the edge highlighting is really well done. It can be a bit thinner on some parts, like for example, let me get a contrasting color here. There you go. There you go. It can be a bit thinner in places like this. This edge highlight is a bit too thick. You can go back with your darker blue color. Don't be afraid of going back with your brush and trimming this down just a tiny bit, so it's as thin as you want it to be, like that. That's an immediate improvement. And people don't realize that you can go back and trim your edge highlights if they are too thick, especially if you haven't used contrast paints as a base layer, which I don't think you have. Maybe I am wrong, but this looks like really proper heavy metal style. Another thing you can do to improve this is, and this is something the heavy metal team has started doing with the latest Space Marines, is adding a glaze of a dark brown into the lower parts of each panel. If you look at the Indomitus box paint jobs and all the subsequent Space Marine releases, you will see that for the Ultramarines, they are taking something like a Rhinox hide, and they are, let me take that kind of brown, so something like this, and they are applying this very, very softly. Let me see. Okay, a bit bigger. Okay, and they are applying like kind of very thin, like this, very thin glazes of this into the lower sections of each shape, like this, like this, like this. Take a look at that box paint jobs and you will see this everywhere. They are starting to do it. This dark brown adds a lot more contrast than the black, because it's a very warm, so it really adds color and temperature contrast into the blue, as well as a bit more interest, because it makes the armor a bit more interesting. That's something that I will try to do. Also, another point that I think is a bit hit and miss here is the weathering on his boots. You have used, you have the correct idea just not the correct application. So he has some dirty boots, which match which match the surrounding colors, the surrounding scenery, which is great. But you have them on the outside. When this is a dusty environment, or even a wet environment, the dirt won't get into the tips, but it will deposit on the joints, on the very inside of each shape. So instead of doing this brown there, do it on the opposite side. Do it on the crevices. The same thing that you did here. Just glaze it instead on the edges and on tips, on the joints, on the opposite sides. Also place it. Don't be afraid to place it here, inside of this. A very good way of doing this is using pigments. If you take some like a reddish brown pigment, something like, let me just take this, something like here. This is a very good match. This is dark red ochre from Vallejo. This pigment you apply it with the brush. You don't even have to use a fixture or anything. Just apply this with the brush on his feet and then wipe it away with the same brush. Just kind of move it around and clean the outer surfaces. That will really So he is saying that he used pigments, they just clean it out of the crevices. Leave them on the crevices and clean them off of the other parts. It will look better. It's kind of counterintuitive, but it will work better. But again, let me just say, this is an extremely good approximation onto the heavy metal paint job. This is really good. You even did the double edge highlights here, which are very tricky, and you are just getting there. You maybe need to add more shading into your metallics. Try an TMM pattern, so add some shading here, like really intense, and move up to pure silver on this bit here, and you will be done. This is really, really nice exercise and really good brush control. So great job. We move into another Space Marine, and then you start to realize why GW makes so many Space Marines. They're just selling them like everyone is buying Space Marines. So this is from Just Simpson, a long-time Patreon, a great person, and fantastic painter. He has having trouble when doing the edge highlights. That is kind of when he does the last stream highlight. Let me take this a bit smaller. When he does this last extreme highlight, looks like harsh dot, and he doesn't really like that look. So he's asking what he's doing wrong. He's doing nothing wrong. But I really like it. But if you don't, what you have to do is add more intermediate tones into those dots and into the rest. Let me add another layer here so I can modify this at my content. So I'm going to take this, for example. What you have to do is, if you have that gray, add like a kind of intermediate tone there, and just instead of doing that dot, you can do another step extra on each side, and immediately you will see that this looks better. He's also saying that kind of he's having a really hard time getting those thinner edge highlights looking being smaller than the previous ones, which makes for a very harsh line. So what the heavy metal team does is those edge highlights, those brighter and brighter edge highlights, are the same width. They don't make them smaller. what they do is previously they do a couple of chunky edge highlights. So they will take something like this, which is your previous highlight. They will probably do something like this, a darker tone, and they will literally just do a, oh no, sorry. Oh. They will probably do a highlight that covers like more area, like this. That will create a bit more, it doesn't place the brighter highlights right onto the black light next to the black. It will have like a very thin line of a really dark gray, but not black in the middle, which kind of acts like a buffer to don't have that harsh contrast. So he said that he used Mechanicus Standard Gray, and then I think Downstone Administratum and Ulthuan Gray, and maybe I'm mistaken, but that's what I can remember from the email. So you want to take something like Eshin Gray first and do a very chunky edge highlight, something like it's something that you know you can make thinner lines afterwards, and then do your overall Mechanicus Standard Gray a smaller Downstone, a smaller Administratum, and a dot of Ulthuan, and that will look better. It's a lot more work because you have to do one more stage of edge highlight covering everything. But if you want softer transition on your edge highlights, that's how the heavy metal team does it. But all in all, I'm an extreme fan of quartered Space Marines. Even if it's not fully quartered, this kind of playing with the red arm and opposing red leg, the black body, the silver head and backpack. This is fantastic paint job and a really well looking Space Marine chapter. And all in all, this is great. The edge highlights look fantastic, especially for a game piece. Don't be ashamed of them. They don't. You kind of see it like a polka dot effect just because you have painted it, but the edge highlights are really well done. And it's just, if you want to avoid it, you have just to go the extra mile and just do a bit more blending, add more stages into your edge highlight. But trust me here, this is already looking fantastic. And remember, guys, we are seeing this really, really zoomed in. This would be something like this. So fantastic looking mini and a great job. We have something very interesting, something that is very dear to my heart now, because we are moving into Listenman, and this is a mini from John Shuttleworth. And this is something that you can build to use the extra bits that you have when you build your Carnosaur, and use the Troglodon bits into something that is very unique. So everything that you can see, let me just take this and do it red. Everything that you can see here has been sculpted. So this is a really ambitious project. This is all green stuff. I'm maybe Milliput green stuff. I cannot really remember well, but it's really well done. And if you don't know what you're looking at, you probably think that is the texture that comes from the mini, but it isn't. That had been sculpted by hand, and he did a really, really good job for someone that is, he said, that is not used to sculpting very much. So that looks fantastic. It's all painted with contrast paints, with a bit of highlights here and there. And again, he has done a really good job. He also has shared with me a tip on painting the gold, especially on the dude here, the Oracle, I think he is. And as he did Gorgrant Affair contrast paint directly over the primer, and then he did like an overbrush or dry brush with Retributor armor over that, and looks fantastic. That's a great tip and a great saving time because you will get the shading and then you will get your highlight and your gold base coated at the same time without losing any of its shine that you might lose if you apply another paint over the gold. So that's a great job. The only thing that I will do to improve this is just add more highlights, but you already know that. You just kind of want to go the extra mile and do all those highlights. He's also having troubles with the water effects. He said that he couldn't get them right. Go watch my video about doing water effects bases. I did them for my High Elf standard bearer, and a product I really recommend that it's the absolute best for me to do in waves is this. This is Woodland Scenics Water Waves. This is an acrylic paste. What I really like about this is, unlike most of the wave products, this is not white. This is fully transparent. So you will see the final effect without having to wait for it to fully dry. And this looks beautiful. It's a really thick paste. You can sculpt this, literally sculpt this. This is like a really thick gel, like a gelatin kind of product. Fantastic. I really recommend you get this. Woodland Scenic Water Waves. Well worth looking for it. And then, I use an AK Interactive product for the ripples. Okay, here it is. Sorry. For the water foam, I use AK Interactive water foam. It's a white paste kind of thing with a bit of texture, a very fine texture, and this blends really well. You can blend them with just water, and blend them really well with the previous wave effect once that is dry, of course, and it will look fantastic. But go and watch that video, and you won't regret it. This is the only products that I use when I have to do water, like waves, like active waves, and they will look fantastic there. But again, this is one of those things. This comes, I think, from the Lustria Online forum, which is a forum for all the Listenman and Seraphon players. I love that forum. I am actually an admin there. I haven't been there for a long time because sadly I haven't been able to play and to write battle reports with all this YouTube thing. But it's a place that is very dear to my heart, and this is an article written by the guys there on how to make the most out of your start collecting Seraphon box. And this is the perfect example of what you can do with a little bit of imagination. So, great project, great job, fantastic sculpting, very effective, and very nice and clean paint job. Nice. We move into the 8th submission. Another beautiful Elder. Aren't elves just the best? They really are. No matter if they are from space or from the medieval time period, elves are always the best. And we have some beautiful Elder Warlocks. This is some models that I really like. I know there are people that don't like it, that they think they are outdated, and I just don't share that opinion. I think they are beautiful models, really timeless, and I have 3 of them to paint for my Janden project, which will be going on for a very long time. And this is some Vieltan Warlocks, and there are a lot of things here. First of all, he has this is from Charles Armitage. Sorry if I have forgotten his name. These are not a single session. These have been painted at very different time periods, and the latest edition is this dude here in the middle. It's a very interesting job, and it's a very interesting exercise when you just when painting your army takes you so much that your painting skills really develop over time. So the latest additions to your army are painted in a way that you couldn't really paint when you started, and this is a very good example. You can see a lot of improvements in the middle guy that are not in the others, like a cleaner robe, better, cleaner, thinner freehand, more contrast into basically everything. The sword is much nicer. I have another shot with the just that middle sword here, but sadly I just couldn't add it because again it's only one picture. But you can see it here on the side that the sword is painted much better. He added some light glints, some light reflections there. Beautiful. So this is a very good example that you don't. But he doesn't look. What I want to say is he doesn't look out of place. So a lot of people get when they get better and they go back and watch and see their previously painted models for a very long project like this one, they get kind of discouraged and they just strip them and repaint them, and that is such a waste of time. Just paint more models instead of repainting your older models. Just add more models to that project, and no one is going to notice. They will look fantastic, and they can also be a very useful tool for you to kind of like a journal of your painting career or of your painting journey, really. So don't strip your models. Just paint more, like Charles has done here. Couple of things that can be improved. And I'm going to be nitpicking here, so this is probably not going to be feedback for most people, but you can really clean your freehand a bit more. You can see here that the freehand is a bit dirty. Like for example here, I know this is like kind of ridiculous, but this is the kind of thing that I'm here for. So you can go back with your greens and redefine this a little more so all the lines are a bit cleaner. Also, what I would like to see is because all the freehand is really nice, but it's really one-dimensional. What I mean is they are not all those lines are just one single flat color. And what I would like to see is you go there with a lighter bone color and just add some highlights here, like this, and like this. And of course here, whatever you have a highlight on the cloak, you should go there. You should go back and highlight it a bit more. And I will also go back and take a darker version of this, like this, and just apply this on the crevices here, like this. Maybe something a bit darker, even something like this. There you go. And all of a sudden, you have something that is very special. You have transformed this from a flat freehand into a crisp and really next level freehand, just with those highlights. So I will really recommend you go there. Also, when you do wear the leather, I feel like you should go all the way, not just don't be shy with it. So you have like a couple of hash lines here, like a couple of scratches. I would do more personally, so maybe add a bit more there, some random dots here and there like that, some more lines there. Again, don't be shy. And I will take something a bit lighter than this, maybe a bit warmer, maybe something like a flesh tone, like Kislev flesh or something like this. Something like this, and maybe do the final dots on this. If you really feel like it, add a bit more light into that. So that's my personal opinion. If you want to go with worn leather, which you don't need to because the other guys doesn't have it, I will go more on that. But the rest of the model is just fantastic. Also, I can see a couple of mold lines on his sword there, but I know how hard these models are to clean, so I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say anything. The rest of the model looks just fantastic, and it's a great job. So really well done, Charles, because this is going to be quite a sight of an army when all this is finished, and I can't really wait to see what's there. So we move into the last one. This is from Gomezara, and he has painted one of the coolest models that GW has put recently out. This is the Slaanesh Noise Marine. I think there was like a celebration or a store model or whatever. This is a beautiful paint job. This is probably, he has said, like it. What he asked me in the email is this Golden Demon level? Is this Golden Demon quality? And is this enough to really approximate to the heavy metal team paint jobs? And so, given that this is, he wants Golden Demon feedback, I will move into Golden Demon mode and be a bit harsh. So not harsh, just I will go a bit. I will be a bit harsher than what I've been with others, just because a Golden Demon, you really have to be the absolute perfectionist just to be at that level. He says he's ready, so I'm ready too. So let's jump into this model. First of all, let me say this is really well painted. This is a really close paint job onto the box art, but of course there are a couple of things that just jump out to me that can be better. First of all, is this Golden Demon quality? Sadly, no. There are a lot of things that need to be improved. You can submit this to a Golden Demon. You might get a pin, maybe. I'm not sure on that, but it 100% won't get you a Golden Demon. There are a couple of things you really need to take care of. First of all, it needs more contrast in a lot of places. I'm going to start with the hair, just because. For example, let me get this highlight color here. I'm going to tone this down a tiny bit. Maybe something like this. Okay, like this. There is a very harsh transition on this hair here. Oops. Why is this not working? Sorry about that. Suddenly my it just won't let me. Oh, maybe because this is a PNG, maybe, and it won't let me edit it. Okay, I don't know how to do this. This is new to me. So, well, I can't draw on top of this. I can't do anything. It won't let me make another layer, and it won't let me add anything to it that is not like the rest. So I'm going to try and be. I will have to do this just with the power of my voice, I'm afraid. Let's see if I can. No, I can't even draw on top of this. What? Let me just say if I can save this as a JPEG. Is it Photoshop? And then reopen this. Can I? No, I can't. It won't let me do anything with this. Okay, technical difficulties. So, yes, a screenshot and then use that. I think I might have to. To do that. Let me just add a screenshot. That is a fantastic idea, by the way. Okay, so yeah, I think this will work now. Great, thank you. Great idea. Fantastic lateral thinking. So let me just add another layer here, so we can work on that. So you can see there is a very hard transition from one red into the other. If you have to blend this. So what I will do personally is just go all in with the highlights. You want these highlights on the hair to be way more aggressive, like this. So because otherwise it would look flat, like this. You can add more highlights there, just like that, and you can see how much of a difference that makes. At least it does for me. So that will kind of solve the hair problem. We have some edge highlights that I will point out here that are too far away from the edge of the shoulder pad. This needs to be just right against it, otherwise it really looks off. You have the tiniest black or really deep blue outline there. You want more contrast also here on the fingers. Let me just get this. This is a bit too big. Let me make this smaller. Yeah, there you go. A bit more of this. Yes, these fingers, you really need to edge highlight them more. You need to add more contrast here and here, more highlights there. This is all across, basically all across the model. You want to move into almost pure white for the final highlights on these blue details, like some dots there, and there, and there, and there. So what you take what you've done and just do more of it. Especially on the blue, I really like the red on his guitar gun. That is quite good. The flames are quite good. But for example, things like his feet really need more contrast. So I will probably take something like a very deep green, like this, and you want to add more shadows there around the rivets. You probably want to increase the contrast here, so add more shading into this area to kind of play with that concave shape. And you will probably want to increase your highlights like we have talked about in the other bits. So take a very light paint and increase the edge highlight brightness there and there, and more of this, some highlights here on the rivets as well, and play with that. You maybe want to even add a highlight here on the middle, like a volumetric highlight there. And you can immediately see that this is just another level of painting. You want maybe do a highlight here, increase your edge highlights there, just like that. So it's quite a transformation from one feat to the other. You can clearly see that you need more of everything and work cleaner. But to me, at least what I see as the thing to improve the most is the metallic paints. So working with metallics is not easy, but things like this shoulder pad trim here is something that will just automatically get you out of any Golden Demon discussion. So this looks like kind of dry brushed. Maybe it isn't, but looks rough. You don't want that. So you want to paint it all silver, and you want to your highlights here to be very well defined. So you don't want you want your edges on your metallics to be really well defined, like this. And that's, for example, here you can place a highlight here, and maybe take a darker gray, darker metallic paint, and do some shading. But this needs to be really controlled. You cannot be this rough. Same goes for the copper. If you see the copper here, it's super flat. This whole area. Let me just circle it out because I don't think you can see my brush. Oops. There you go. This whole area here is super flat. You want more highlights on the bright spots. You want darker, more defined shapes. So you probably want to edge highlight all the chain links. Also, this guitar chords here need highlighting. They look really dark and really flat on the upper strings. Again, here you probably want a more defined edge highlight. All the shading here, I really approve. You can increase the contrast a bit more with a darker shade on this area here. But yeah, what I see the most that's needed the most work is the metallic paints. The rest looks fantastic. And this is, please don't get me wrong, this is a fantastic paint job. But we are talking here like the absolute hardest judges in terms of perfectionism. So if you want to go for Golden Demon, you really want to make everything as perfect as possible, and they will, because if you make a mistake, they will see it, and they will, even if you think there's no way they can see whatever mistake, they will see it. Trust me, they will see it. Another thing that really jumps out is this zebra pattern on his head. It's not well defined. If you want to do this, you really want those black lines to be perfectly defined. And what I mean by perfectly defined is you can see that this line is a bit grayer. You want this to be sharp and intentional. You don't want this to look like the brush just landed there. You want this to be, because the judges will see if it's intentional. So you want all the lines to be sharp, all the colors to be solid and nice, and you really need to work that very well. Doing freehand for a Golden Demon is something that very few people can pull off well, because it has to be just the most perfect application of paint, the sharpest and most defined shapes and all that. It's a really hard thing to pull off, so don't be ashamed about this. But again, what you did, if you want to shoot for Golden Demon quality, you need to take what you did here and just do more and more precise. It's just that. That is what the heavy metal team is all about. It's absolute precision, absolute like refinement, and maybe not. I know that a lot of very good painters don't really like the heavy metal style because it's not a realistic. It uses edge highlighting too much, but you cannot really negate the fact that they are some of the most precise painters in the world, and that style is all about precision. That's why edge highlighting is so important. Oh, but by the way, just I noticed you have made some edge highlights that I'm now seeing. For example, here. Oops, this is not bright enough. For example, here there should be an edge highlight. Same here. Same here. Same here. You know, like ridiculous precision, ridiculous application of highlights in every single surface. But yeah, this is a beautiful paint job, and you are really getting there. So you just need to do more. Sounds a bit harsh. It sounds like I'm not really saying anything helpful, but Gomezara is a really talented painter. Okay, so yeah, let's just be finished with me, and I will get back in the comments because there's he is commenting as I'm talking, so I will go back. But you really need to be very precise, and you really need to be very careful. You can win a golden demon using a different style as the heavy metal team, but you asked me for the heavy metal team style critique, so that's what I did, and that was what you were shooting for. So yeah, again, fantastic paint job, really talented painter, really awesome person. I really like this mini a lot, but you really should. But if you want to shoot for golden demon quality, you need to take all that you know and just focus on being extremely precise on how you apply the paint and drive contrast up even more. You do have a lot of room to add much more contrast into your paint jobs, more than you can really. You really need to make your brain think differently, because you can add a ton more contrast here. So that's all really. That's all the paint jobs done, and I will go back and review all the comments that have gone out to the chat. I was like kind of checking the chat, and I was trying to be subtle here, but I think everyone could see that I was losing my trail of thoughts when I was reviewing this. So I will go back, and there are a lot of comments. So that's great. Yeah, loving the NMM, so we're going quite warm, love it. So people reviewing. Yeah, Olivier is there, yes, saying that he was hoping I was harsh with it. I want to improve, so that's perfect. She can just jumping in when his mini was done. Yeah, that's fantastic. Let's see if there's any questions. Yeah, James saying that what we're talking about painting eyes is just defining the eye with a darker color just around the eyeball. Helps define the eyes very well, and also hides quite a lot of crimes. Oh yes, Alasdair Richardson is saying that talking about Grim Dark Space Marines, Marco Frisoni has a lot of videos on them. Yes, he has, and I love Marco. He is a fantastic person. He seems like the sweetest guy in the world, and he makes awesome videos. So go watch them. If you want to know how to paint Grimdark, he is a great source of knowledge. Yeah. So, oh yeah, we have a couple of moving down the chat. You have Inigo Acedo here. So, hola. Inigo is a friend of mine for a very long time, like really good friend. We've gone through some shit. Yeah, I really hope he doesn't go into details of what we've gone through, because that would be quite embarrassing. So hello, Logan Green Vogler. The dog in green you can see is a channel member because he is sporting a very cool green name with a very cool Men at Arms archer there. It's fantastic. Fantastic guy, thank you for the support. Yeah, John Santos, when he did the waves on his Troglodon, they are acrylic sealants, often with azo alcohol, very messy. Yeah, I don't like that. I know Luke APS suggested that in a lot of his videos, and it does work, but it's so messy. Also, using ISO near an already painted mini is not a good idea. That's what I really like the Woodland Scenics Water Waves product. First of all, transparent, as is the acrylic sealant, but it's water based, so you can thin it with water, and it's not messy at all. You can just pick it with a spatula, apply it, shape it, and it won't make a mess. It's a fantastic product. This smells like Darren Latham, so we were talking about the Charles Armitage Elder. Yeah, he has a very distinct style, very similar to mine and to Darren, of course, because my style is just basically Darren Latham style all over. Yeah, we will. Yeah, a lot of people suggesting how to solve all that troubleshooting about this. So thank you very much for that. I really appreciate that. And Gavin Gartha suggested screenshotting this, and then that's what I did, and it works really well. And Gomethar is asking, how can you prevent the issue of contrast creep, like you overdo the contrast? That can really be an issue. You can really go too far, but it's something that you need to develop the taste for. But you can really go like extreme contrast and still look good. For example, the Dire Avenger that I painted, almost every surface goes from almost black to almost white, and it looks good. It's just a matter of knowing where to apply your highlights, and it will look good. But again, breaking that contrast barrier in your it's purely in your mind is something that is really hard to do, but you can really go much higher than you really think. Just don't be ashamed and work on your precision, and you will get there. And yes, you have quite a lot of contrast, but you can go more. If you see the Golden Demon entries, the winning Golden Demon of this past times, you will see that all of them are really intense in terms of contrast application, but it's not like all over the place. It's very concentrated, but that like very focused contrast to really bring out all the shapes and all the surfaces and all the volumes. So you really need to study all the winning entries and work on the contrast on that on those shapes and that how they apply it. Okay, that's a very good question, Magros42. When assessing for Golden Demon, does attempting something advanced get more credit than doing everything safer but to perfection? So the thing is, you're not thinking it the right way. If you're doing something to perfection, then what you're doing is really hard. It's really hard to do something perfect. So that is kind of the thing. What you really need with the Golden Demon is you need to paint every little detail on the mini as good as you can make it. Like, it doesn't mind that it's just like that you may think, well, this is just a little pouch here. It's not important. It is. Everything should be painted to the absolute same quality. So what it really don't like is for example, if you paint like standard bearer and you make like a ridiculous freehand banner that is amazing, and the rest of the model is just
then they will say, no, that is horrible. That is freehand for the sake of freehand, or just one very good detail and the rest like meh. Then that just doesn't qualify. That just doesn't cut it. Look at what people like Richard Gray do. They make something like stunning freehands, but the rest of the model is also as stunning as the freehand. Everything needs to be in line. Every single rivet, every single belt, every single buckle, every single thing that is sculpted on the Mini should be painted to the absolute perfection and to the absolute highest level that you can make it, because they will notice it. They will look your models in every possible angle. They will look them into each and every single detail, and everything needs to be painted to the absolute perfection. You really don't need to go into complicated things. You don't really need to do freehand if you don't want to. A good freehand is a freehand that enhances the model, not that distracts from it. So, but you don't have to do freehand if you don't want. A good freehand, well applied freehand, will help, of course, because there's more to add. If it adds to the model, it will help. You also want to do something that really kind of tells a story that that kind of fits into the narrative and that makes your model stand out. But yeah, don't get too focused into doing. You don't need to do all the complicated things. You don't need to do an MM to win a Golden Demon. You don't need to do freehand to win a Golden Demon. You just need to do everything perfect and make a Mini that is good looking. Also, the choice of the sculpt is very important. Not because they will favor one newer sculpt, for example, over older ones, because that will sell more models. That is ridiculous. But you want a model that you can see every single part of the model without anything obscuring other stuff. You want an open pose. You want a really standout model that really will shine with a good paint job. So, for example, this is kind of an exaggeration, but it will be really hard to win a Gold Demon with a Bretonnian Archer, for example. I'm not saying it cannot be done, but I mean, it's not a very inspiring sculpt, and there is not much you can do with it, even if you paint it to the highest level. So you need the proper model painted. In lore, for example, you cannot do a purple orc because orcs are green. So if you paint a purple orc, you will never win a Gold Demon, no matter how well that orc is painted. So it's all of the things. You need to be in the GW universe. You need to. It needs to be like a Mini that really shines with a good paint job, and you need to just do everything perfect. A very good example of doing everything perfect is a Silver Golden Demon winner. I think it is from the last Golden Demon. It's a Space Marine Dark Angels Chaplain. It went silver on the 40k category. Go watch that Mini and you will see what absolute perfection it has. It doesn't have. It has freehand on the parchment, on the purity seals, and on the rim of the ropes, and that kind of freehand, but nothing too complicated. Just very nice geometric patterns and really simple, like very heavy metal style. But everything on that chaplain is painted to the absolute perfection, and that is what he won a Silver Golden Demon. Yeah, Jodocast is making a very good point. That a lot of Golden Demon entries are converted, which again also helps. Everything you can do to make your model stand out from the rest is a great thing. It's something that will get you one step further. You don't need to convert a model, but if you do a very good conversion, that helps. Everything helps. So yes. And also, yeah, you can add add OSL. It's not needed, but everything you can. But it needs to be well done. If you are not confident in doing like perfect OSL, don't do it. It's better to not do it. Okay, that's a good question. Which model would I submit to a Golden Demon and why? I'm actually working on a Golden Demon entry. I've been working for a very long time. Some people know what it is. I'm recreating the cover from the second edition Eldar book. Why? Because first of all, it's an iconic cover. Everyone that started into the hobby around that time remembers that cover is super iconic. It's a beautiful, colorful, so it has a lot of color. It's iconic GW art, and it also lends it very well to very clean heavy metal style paint jobs with insane freehanding work that is justified. So that helps a lot. But I chose it mainly because it's something that it's important to me, because I'm very nostalgic for that army book, for that codex, and that is very important because you are going to spend a hell of a lot of time painting those models, so you better like what you do. And yeah, I chose it because it's important for me, but it's also it's very recognizable, it's very iconic, and I can do some impressive painting on those minis, so that's why I chose it. Also, is this failing? Yeah, I think my lights it's like kind of a glitch there. Also, a very good example of something that I did for Golden Demon is my Sandria Azure Bolt Stormcast, and I tried to make a base that would be simple to make but also tell a story. So if you watch that, you will see what I mean. But yeah, I will probably do. Yeah, my lights are just dying. Okay, so be it. We've been here for a very long time. Let me see if I can fix that. Just a minute. I will. We're back and we have lights. Yeah, we were doing. Yeah, Golden Demon. Some safe bets are go and look for Gareth Nicholas Golden Demon entries. He has painted basic models, no conversion at all, just good iconic sculpts. A lot of Space Marines, because whether you like it or not, Space Marines are a safe bet on the Golden Demon. Just paint them flawlessly. Do them like with NMM armor. Do them with OSL, and you will get there. Just watch. He makes prime examples of what a Golden Demon entry is. I recently saw a whole army of Ultramarines in pink, with pink tanks and so on. Yeah, funny enough, when I was in the UK a very long time ago, I was about 13 or 14. I went. It was in Weston-super-Mare. It was a shop there that I think is now closed. And a guy there had a Space Marine chapter that were painted bright pink, and it was the first like really ridiculously bright pink Space Marines that I've ever saw, and I thought it was fantastic. So yeah, that's great. Jay Diesel, have you ever tried painting something in a more realistic manner, like images used in films, other than bold and contrast, not really highlighting difference in contrast? I haven't tried it. That's just not something that I feel inclined to do. Others done it really well. There's a painter. I'm horrible with the names, but it's a guy that can paint portraits, and they look like the real person, and they are like this big, but it's ridiculous. I'm sorry. I really cannot remember the name of the guy. But there's something that it just doesn't interest me at all, so I'm not going to do it. It's a great exercise, but it's just not what I do. And I'm old enough to realize that I just want to paint what I like, and that's it. Yeah. So, guys, I think that we have reached the end of the comments. Yeah, and again, pink Space Marines are awesome. So, if anyone wants, if you ever think like, should I paint my Space Marines pink because you like the color, because you think it's funny, just do it. There is. Oh yeah, Gabriel is here. Gracias. You are awesome. Again, I think we reached the end of the comments. We have been here for about an hour and a half. I think this time is a good enough time that I can go back and watch a bit of TV with my wife. And I really thank you all that have been here for the whole time. That all that you have submitted minutes for the review. I really appreciate that. This is probably one of my favorite times of the month when I get to review these minis, because this is such a great and fun exercise, and something that really helps me too, because thinking about what to improve makes me better painter as well, because then when I'm painting I'm thinking about all those stuff that you may not think, and it's a great thing and great fun. So guys, thank you all very much for watching, and I catch you in the next one. Bye.